Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Dear many children, today I will be giving you dars from Golden Egg. But before we start our dars, let's make good intentions. The Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has stated, the intention of a mu'min is better than his action. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen wa salatu wa salamu ala sayyidil mursaleen. Amma ba'd, fa'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. The last and final Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has stated, the closest person to me on the day of judgment will be the one who recited the most salat upon me. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ala Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There was once a strange cobra living in a house that would lay a golden egg every day. The owner was very pleased at receiving this wealthy free of charge. He had greatly emphasized to his family members not to tell anyone else about this. This continued for many months. One day the cobra bit their goat and it died. The members of the household became very angry and they began to search for the cobra so that they could kill it. However, the man quelled their anger by telling them that the golden egg they received from the cobra is more valuable than the goat, and hence they should not worry about it. After some time, the cobra bit their pet donkey, and it also died at once. The greedy owner became worried for a short while, but he quickly got over it as he was overcome by his greed again. And he began to say, "It has killed our second animal today, but it does not matter. It has not caused any harm to any person." The others in the house remained quiet. 2 years passed and the cobra had not bit anyone, and so the people had forgotten about what happened to their animals. One day the cobra suddenly bit their servant. The poor individual called out to his owner for the help, but the poison had taken effect and he died before the owner could reach him. The greedy man was worried now and began to say, "The poison of this cobra is extremely dangerous. It has instantly killed everyone it has bitten, and there is a chance that it will also bite one of our family members." He remained worried about this for many days, but the luster and lure of the golden egg had blinded him again. He became quiet and said to himself, "Although we are being harmed because of the cobra, but we are also receiving golden eggs." After a few days, the cobra bit his son. A doctor was called immediately, but he could not do anything, and his son also experienced an uneasy death. The death of their young child struck the husband and wife like lightning. Overcome with anger, the father began to say, "I will not spare that cobra now." However, they could not find it. After some time, he began to feel uneasy on account of his greed, because he was not receiving golden eggs anymore. Thus, both husband and wife went to the cobra's hole, cleaned it, and made it fragrant. In other words, it was a gesture of reconciliation to the cobra. Amazingly, the cobra returned and they began to receive their golden egg again. Their greed for wealth blinded them, and they had forgotten the deaths of their son and slave. One day the cobra bit his wife while she was sleeping, which also resulted in her dying after a short while. Now the greedy man was also, and he informed his brothers and friends about the cobra. They all advised him by saying, you made a grave mistake, but there is still time, but be cautious and kill that dangerous cobra as soon as possible." When the man returned home, he sat down and waited for an opportunity to kill the cobra. Suddenly he saw a valuable pearl near the cobra's hole, which brought great delight to his greedy nature. His inordinate desire for wealth caused him to forget everything, and he began to say to himself, "Time causes personalities to change, and so it is possible that the cobra's temperament has also changed. Just as the cobra has now started to lay pearls instead of golden eggs, perhaps its poison has also finished. Therefore I have nothing to fear." After thinking this, he changed his mind about killing the cobra. The greedy individual was very delighted at receiving a precious pearl every day, and he had forgotten the old deceiving ways of the cobra. One day he placed all of the gold and pearls into a pot and fell asleep with his head resting on it. That very night the cobra also bit him. When his scream began to grow loud, the people from the surrounding areas came to him and began to say, "You were lazy in killing the cobra, and you put your own life in danger because of your greed." The greedy individual, overcome with embarrassment, could not say a word. He took the pot that was full of gold and gave it to his friends and relatives, and he very regretfully said, "Today this wealth has no value in my eyes, because it was become the property of others, and I will leave this world empty-handed." He then died after a short while. Dear Islamic brothers, did you see how the desire for wealth destroyed a happy and content family? A greedy person's sight is limited and only looks at temporary gain. As a result, such a person is unable to make the right decisions, just like the greedy man in the above-mentioned parable, whose desire for wealth has intoxicated him to such an extent that the death of his son and wife did not bring him to his senses. Eventually, he too ended up dying. Having excessive desire is greed. Moreover, evil greed is when one, despite acquiring his own share, has a desire for another's share. To be dissatisfied with something and always desire an increase is greed, and the one who possesses greed is known as greedy. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Evil is the one who is guided by greed. Evil is the one who is averted from the path of truth by desires. Evil is the one whose passion and inclination cause him to be disgraced and humiliated." Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. The heavenly companion Sayyidina Abu Zayd Ghifari radiallahu anhu was once giving advice and said in a low voice, "O people, save yourselves from greed, for destruction lies in it for you, because it never comes to an end, and nor can you fulfill your greed." Dear Islam brothers, regardless of whether one is a small child or a young person, a 100-year-old man or woman, an officer or a laborer, rich or poor, it is very difficult to protect oneself from greed. It is a different matter that some have agreed for rewards in the hereafter, and others have agreed for wealth. Some have agreed for honor and fame, and others desire to stand out from the rest. In short, greed is present within us in some form or another. Allah Almighty states in verse 122 of Surah Al-Nisa, وَأُهْدِرَتِ الْأَنفُسُ الشُّحَّ, and the heart is trapped in greed. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. The Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam has stated, "A person grows old, but two things remain young in him: greed for wealth and greed for life." Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. May Allah Azza wa Jal give us tawfiq to remember this dars in our prayers. Ameen bi jahi Nabil Ameen sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Remember me in your du'as. Keep watching Money Channel. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.